Well, tonight's weather is forcing Washington State ferries to cancel some trips over the next few hours. 2 evening round trips between Port Townsend and Coupeville are canceled because of tidal currents.
Let's check back in with Christopher Nundy now. Take a look at the forecast. Got some wind up. Well, the wind's already here, I should say.
Yeah, big storm system off the west coast. This is what's responsible for those higher tides eventually and those strong gusty winds. Look at that big swirl off the west coast, really taking up several hundred miles. And we're going to see those winds continue throughout the evening into the overnight hours because this system going to move off to the north-northeast. That's creating that strong offshore push here in western Washington. Now, most of the moisture with this is actually well to our south, a big atmospheric river pumping into California, seeing some flooding there, but we will see some spotty shower activity, but mainly that weather story going to be those gusty winds. And because of that, we have a wind advisory in effect for the brown shaded areas. This includes the eastern Puget Sound lowlands of Snohomish, King, Pierce counties into the Cascade foothills. This is where we could see those winds sustained between 25 to 40 miles per hour this evening into tonight, gusting upwards of 50 to 55 miles per hour in some of those gap areas, and also out along the coast included within that wind advisory. This continues throughout the evening hours into early tomorrow morning, should expire around 4 a.m. Now, it had been largely dry, but a little piece of energy from that system, a little weak cold front moving in, creating that uptick in the moisture. Notice a lot of it is actually across the Olympic Peninsula, but we're going to see a few showers sneak into Seattle within, say, the next 15 minutes into downtown Seattle. Notice some of the heavier activity as you work your way south along I-5 toward Des Moines, Kent, as well as Federal Way, Tacoma, seeing some light, if not moderate rainfall. So give yourself a little extra time for that evening commute. Going to move into Seattle and Bellevue within the next 15 minutes. Short-lived though, it's not going to be a completely wet evening. Spotty rain showers for Seattle, Tacoma, Everett. As you work your way a little bit farther north into parts of Skagit and Whatcom counties, likely going to stay largely dry. The heaviest activity is going to be to the west of Puget Sound, where we see that light to moderate rainfall continue throughout the late afternoon into the evening hours. Now, the temperatures really aren't too bad. We're in the upper 40s, lower 50s for most of western Washington. This is actually just a little bit above average. 49 in Seattle. Our average high is actually 47 degrees, so we're mild with some of those gusty winds. Now, while you're not dodging raindrops in downtown Seattle right now, we're seeing some gustier winds just off to the south. So an east-southeast wind sustained at 16 miles per hour. This is actually at SeaTac. So once you work south of downtown towards SeaTac, Kent, Auburn, that's where we're seeing some of those stronger wind gusts and into the Cascade foothills as well. Wind gusts recently in Renton at 36 miles per hour, 31 miles per hour at SeaTac. Now, the winds start to gradually relax after 4 a.m. tomorrow, so we'll hold on to those winds for the next few hours, but we have another system that's going to move in tomorrow, so that will create another uptick in those winds and increase those rain chances by tomorrow afternoon. Now, the temperatures, even with that system moving in, are pretty mild, highs in the lower 50s. We hold on to the lower 50s for the next few days.